Ooh, it's working. All right, that's good. Why does my webcam look so much worse on TikTok? It's like, I don't know, it's weird. All right, let's start some music for everyone. How's everybody's day doing? I think we're doing good. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, we're just running YouTube today. I'm just gonna do some more React stuff because I don't have anything else to do, and a lot of really great YouTubers that I love put some cool shit today. So, yeah, we're definitely gonna be watching a lot of that. So, yeah. We'll see. I'm also on TikTok now, finally, again. I don't know, I'm kind of wishy-washy on TikTok in general, but it seems... Why can't you edit a message in Snapchat? I don't know. All I did was accidentally put an extra letter at the end, but like, I'd rather not have to worry about it. Come on. Yeah, 4,000 views. Oh, holy shit. Wow, that is not good. Okay, how about that? Oh, I do just have this loud in general. Boom. Oh, whoa. All right. Okay. How we doing, everybody? Sounds like we're doing good. Yeah. All right.
What's a girl to do? Lying on my bed staring into the blue. Unrequited, terrifying. Love is
Okay. I'll have people. Damn, I hit 43 followers today. That's crazy. That's what one relatively decent video does for you. That's crazy. Okay. Wow. TikTok. Look at that.
You know I've loved you from the start.
All right. So there's a bunch of really, really good videos that, well, I know that they're going to be good because they're from really notoriously big YouTubers. So, yeah. And I am a notoriously small YouTuber, so, you know, me reacting to their content definitely isn't platforming anybody that I shouldn't be, and it's also, like, not going to affect their overall viewer base at all. So I'm just gonna, like, do it. I'm gonna react to it. Like, I don't know. I don't think I need to justify myself here. Anyways, yeah. So let's get it started with I did a thing. I'm making a double-barreled spear gun.
How you going? I love spearfishing, and I've spent heaps on countless bits of gear. But despite my passion, I'm kinda crap. And my ratio of shots taken to fish hit is at best like 1 out of 3. And even when I do hit a fish, like this cobia, which I shot from the back of an eagle ray,
I've actually never been. I've never been spearfishing. It sounds really fun though. Like, that's something that I would love to go do. That shit would be so hype, actually.
The time. And that's a bad ratio. So today, instead of improving my aiming skills, I'm going to make a double-barreled spear gun that hopefully makes it impossible for me to miss, which will lead me into the gnarliest 3-day adventure of my life.
Damn.
Where I face big ocean currents,
Pretty crazy current. Yeah. We're not moving.
Oh,
find
shit.
some big fish,
That's a monster.
and even bigger sharks.
Big shot.
Yeah, I just saw it. It was heading right at you. Did you see what it was? I couldn't tell from above.
It looked like a wave.
Alright, the first thing I did was buy a big piece of wood. And there's debates amongst men in the spearfishing community about their favourite wood to get wet. And most men suggest teak or mahogany as they are high in oils and the wood doesn't expand underwater. But they are both too expensive. So I ignored all the men on the
They are both too
internet and went
expensive.
for this stuff,
Damn.
black butt, purely because I like the name. But I have no idea if it will be strong enough or go well underwater. And for the handle of the gun, I'm going to copy the design of my camera gun, as I like the feel in my hand, and I think it'll be hilarious to confuse beachgoers by looking like I'm bringing a shotgun in the water to shoot fish. So after I sketched out the handle, I started cutting the wood with the jigsaw. But I've already got a problem. Either I don't know how to use a jigsaw, or this wood is too tough. And I cut...
The wood's too tough. Dude, the wood's too tough. What do you mean? That's crazy. Yeah, no, the wood's too tough, bro. There's not much else to that. The wood's too tough. The jigsaw probably
a
looks
random
fine.
piece of wood to make sure, and it's definitely the wood, and this sucks. My whole body is
Hey,
vibrating,
Michaela.
and worst of all, I already have my first crack. So to stop any more cracks from getting any ideas, I cut that one off
You
and
cracked
chucked
it
it over the
already,
fence to
damn.
disincentivize any others from appearing. So to avoid any more cracks, I decided to use my belt sander to
You
just
can be
carve
a
out
mod
the
also,
whole
Michaela,
thing,
here.
which is incredibly wasteful as I'm just turning the wood into
you
dust
go.
and won't have any usable offcuts. But
You're on a
at least
trip
I'm
for a
probably
volleyball
gonna
tournament? Where are you
inhale
guys
half
going?
of the wood, so it's not all going to waste. And I finished doing the profile, but discovered something else very embarrassing. And I'm going to show you since I know you won't tell any of my other subscribers. Another crack. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, as I've never worked on wood that has cracked this much before. It could be from all the times I dropped the wood on the hard concrete floor. Or it could be that time I used it as a piñata stick at a kid's birthday. Rocks! You get rocks! But I think more likely the wood is the problem. But besides the cracks, I'm very happy with the shape of the gun.
Awesome.
So I
Damn. Have I had my... No, I haven't had my mouse on the there yet. Okay, so like Indianapolis, that's crazy. That's awesome.
drew a line down the middle, which is where
That's
the
so
barrels
fun.
will go. And they're going to be made out of these carbon fiber tubes. But there's a problem. The spear doesn't fit into the tube. So I need to cut a dead straight notch down the whole tube. And to do that, I made this guide so I can pass the tube in front of this Dremel tool. And while cutting carbon fiber, it's extremely important to ignore the manufacturer's recommendation of eating and inhaling the dust. As I've done that a couple of times, and I find it really makes your asshole itch in the morning. Alright, in an attempt to hide the cracks I just created, I traced around this section where the trigger is going to go, as I want to reinforce it with a steel outer plate. But more importantly, it's going to look cool. And after cutting out the metal, I decided I didn't want to use this metal anymore, as it's shiny. And instead of cutting out a different kind of metal, I'm just going to stain it with the only gun-related thing I was legally allowed to bring back from the state.
Bro has a fake gun prop in
Cold
his
blue.
suitcase.
I'm also hoping it'll add a bit of protection from the rust. But after looking
Forgot your headphones at home and you've already been driving for 2 hours. That's tragic. That's tragic. Dang, I could never. I would lose my mind, like straight up.
up, if it does that, it actually does the opposite. But I've already done it, so we'll find out what happens. Okay, now comes the most
Wait, what do you say?
add a bit of protection from the rust. But after looking up, if it does that, it actually does the opposite. But I've already done it, so we'll find out what happens. Okay, now comes the most stressful part, which is cutting the slot for the trigger mechanisms.
Bro's coming up with reasons for why he's doing things before he actually knows that that's like what happens. He's just
And I'm
coming.
pretty
He's just
scared because
making
my
stuff
first
up.
attempts at making it the trigger hole on scrap wood didn't go that well. And because it's double barreled with 2 spears, I'll have 2 triggers.
Dude. It looks like a wild animal
wood
like tried to
didn't go that
bury
way.
their way in here. That's not like, dude, you did a horrible job. That's crazy.
And because it's double barreled with 2 spears, I'll have 2 triggers, which both have to be perfectly in line with each other in order to shoot straight. But I've got another problem. The 2 identical
Why doesn't he just make a single trigger system instead of having 2 triggers? That doesn't seem hard to do. I'm no engineer, but like that doesn't seem too difficult. Bro's going through so much extra work, I feel like.
triggers I ordered aren't the same. But I guess just like identical twins, parts of
They're different too. That sucks,
their
bro.
bodies can be different lengths. And I don't know what else to do besides cutting off the trigger and then rewelding it. And the welding industry wants you to think that you can't weld stainless steel with MIG, or that you need to buy special welding wire, but they're lying to you. And this seemed to come out fine, at least for now, until it rusts in the water. And somehow I got it pretty perfect. Okay, now for the trigger slot. And I did that
Hey, he actually did it right. Look at that.
using a router, a
Guess
tool
not
I've
right,
always
he
been
did it
way
well.
too scared to use, ever since my mate Rowan cut the tip of his finger off. But my fingers are shorter than Rowan's, so I should just miss the end of the cutting bit. And I don't know the correct method, but I just plunged it into the hole and then gently moved it around, trying not to go out of my lines. Then I drilled some holes all the way through
You did pretty
and
good
tidied
that
up
time.
the
There you
trigger
go.
slot, and put in the trigger mech. Alright, I've stuffed up again. If the spears are lying flat on the wood, they slide nicely into the triggers. But when I put the spears in the carbon fiber barrels, they don't fit. Fiber? This is too high. So either I'm going to have to raise the triggers up or cut rails for the carbon fiber tubes in the wood, which I'm just going to pretend I wanted to do the whole time, as it will also give me more surface area for the glue that I'm going to use later. So I cut some grooves with the router, and now I think this is going to work. Fucking hell. Next, I cut some
He did it a little bit too far to the left.
holes
That's
for the rubbers,
crazy,
and I want to
dude.
use twin 16mm
That
rubbers.
sucks.
And for the Americans, it's about the same thickness as your average Midwestern cock. Which will mean
okay, now I
each
know.
spear has the power of a single 16mm rubber, which in my experience is more than enough. But I don't really know how thick the wood needs to be to support that much.
And I can't just get wired headphones somewhere because the charging port on iPhone is the same as a headphone wire. Oh, as the headphone one? Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, so like, are you not able to charge your phone? Is that what your problem is? Didn't iPhones used to come with adapters that helped with that? Or is that not how that works anymore?
Much power, so that's
That
another
let
thing
you,
that could
like,
break. And this
plug
gun
it
looks
into-
pretty nice, besides my dirty fingerprints all over it. So I sanded it all down, and also removed some more wood to hide the cracks that I had created, and then gave it a clear coat of epoxy, which will hopefully stop the water from getting in and making those cracks bigger, and also make it look prettier. And I picked this epoxy spray specifically because it was the only thing I had in this crack behind the shelf in my garage. And that's alright. Okay, after letting the epoxy dry nice and hard, I then scraped the epoxy back off so that the glue I'm going to use will stick strongly to the wood. And some of you are probably thinking that I could have just put masking tape over these areas while spraying the epoxy so I don't have to do double the amount of work.
Yeah.
And you'd be right. And for the glue for the barrels, I
Alright.
sampled a lot of different kinds.
Okay, number one, you ready? You open your mouth.
Uh-huh.
Up there.
That's horrible. Horrible.
Right, number two. Number two. Yeah, go.
Glue number 2.
Oh, they're actually pretty good.
Oh, you don't want to spit it out?
Yeah, I like that one.
That's the one.
I like that one.
That's the one.
And by far my favorite was this
Okay.
one, 69 epoxy, which, despite the name, I really wouldn't recommend
You know what? I've tried that one actually. It tastes pretty good.
using it for that position.
I can recommend.
So I glued the carbon fiber barrels down, and I'm very glad I picked this epoxy, as it has an hour working time and 24 hours drying time, as it probably took me over an hour to get everything down and straight and in line with each other. And then I just waited for it to dry.
Please dry properly and in place.
I'm not getting that off. Next, I'm going to do something I've never seen on spear guns and put things on the front which I'm trademarking and calling shark pokers, as we quite often see sharks while spearing, and sometimes you have a nice sharp spear to poke them away with, but most of the time I find the sharks come in after you have shot the fish, and then you no longer have a spear. So this still gives me a way to poke them and always remain protected while in the water. And speaking of protect,
No one is going to sell the right type of plug except for Apple themselves. Yeah, that sounds about right. So he put shark pokers on the end of the shit because he was like, damn, that's what I need. Like, to protect me against the sharks. Dude, why are you swimming in like shark infested waters?
let me tell you an even better way to protect yourself than shark pokers. Opera Browser, which is fully featured for privacy,
Oh, hey.
security, and protects everything you do online.
crazy.
And it's also faster and smarter than any of the other browsers I've used, and was really helpful while making this video. I absolutely love the features it has, like Aria, an inbuilt browser AI, which
Oh,
is
look at that
easily
one right there.
accessible in the sidebar and gives you clear
Whoa,
answers
in the
instantly
sidebar?
for whatever you want to know.
Whoa.
Also, the highlight tool allows me to highlight anything online, and then Aria gives me a brief explanation and overview of the topic. Also, when you download Opera, you get your own island. Tab
pull healthy,
islands,
work
which
on
sorts
yourself.
my tabs by relation, so you
Whatever.
don't have to
Alright.
have 30 tabs open at once, which makes my browser cleaner and easier to use. I also regularly use the free VPN and ad blocker, which is built into the browser, so you can browse securely, so you can
Wait, there's a free ad blocker
block
that I have
ads
on?
whenever you want,
Always.
which is incredibly useful.
Dang, that's
I also
crazy.
love this video pop-out feature, which means you can detach videos and keep watching them while
Watch it,
browsing
watch
and
it.
doing
Like
other
this.
stuff, which allows me to do more
Whoa!
things at once.
It's so
and
cool.
is
It even
great
goes on
for
this
my
monitor.
ADHD.
You guys can't see it, but it goes
So
over
go
there.
download Opera
Goes
using the link
wherever.
in my
I can, like,
description to get the most
move it, it
useful,
goes- stays there. It's
safest,
pretty cool.
and fastest browser. Alright,
Yes,
back
sir.
to the shark pokers. And the pokers also act as a wraparound point for the line that is connected to the spear. And that's something I haven't explained to you yet, the line release. I need a line attached to the spear, otherwise the fish just run away with the spear when you shoot them. And most spear guns have a little hook on the side that the line wraps around, which will release when you shoot. However, I don't want to put one of these on each side of the gun, as it seems annoying and a tangle risk, and also the triggers I bought didn't come with them. So my next idea was to use some of these money clips that I have because I'm a rich YouTuber, which I would attach to the side, and then the line would clip in.
Did you guys see all the money he had? That's
That I
crazy.
have because I'm a rich YouTuber, which I would attach to the side, and then the line would clip into them like this, and when you shoot, it just releases. However, I reckon I've discovered a better way, and I'm really confused why no one in the spearfishing industry does this. I can just place one end of the line around this, and then loop it over the fin of the spear, which will release when I shoot. And this is so simple and removes so many moving parts. But the spear could also just tangle and bounce back and hit me. Okay, then I attach the rubbers.
Huh. You know, he just like is like, you know, this could come back and hurt me really, really bad, really dangerously later. But you know what? We're gonna leave it. That's kind of what, like, this keeps happening.
If you watched my last video, you'll know that I'm not the best at tying spear gun rubbers. So this time, I'm gonna tie exactly the same knot. And just before giving this a test shot, I thought of something. When I pull the rubbers back and place it over the spears, they are most likely going to be forced together like this, and they might jam in the trigger mech. So to hopefully stop that, I just took out some rubber washers from my car engine.
I don't think this does anything.
And then placed that in it, which should keep the spears from pressing together. Alright, it's time for the first
He's a genius. His car didn't need that. I can
shot.
tell.
And technically, it's not legal for me to shoot this while I'm not in the water, but I think I found a loophole.
I think he did.
And after retying all the rubbers, I had another go.
Dude, just learn how to tie the rubbers. He's gonna actually just get really badly hurt in one of these videos eventually.
Okay.
Oh, he put a mannequin over there, dude.
One.
Oh, dude. Wait, that's crazy.
2, 1.
That's insane, bro.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm glad I put the rubbers on the end.
Yeah.
That would have been nasty.
Like
Oh,
that
you
could
put
have like
big
gone
piece-
into the garage.
And I'm very happy with that shot.
didn't even
Both the
use those
spears
sharp
came
ends.
out at
That's
exactly
crazy.
the same time, and the lines also didn't tangle, and the power seemed like heaps. And that was only with one rubber. But the spears will be moving a lot slower in the water. Also, the cracks could get bigger. The triggers might not go off at the same time, and then the spears will unlodge in a catastrophic way. Oh,
But
and
you
the
know
wood
what? It's
might be
probably
too
fine.
heavy or too
Nah, that's
buoyant
fine. He's got
underwater.
it.
All of which I'll only find out once I get in the water.
Yes, sir. Oh, he's
To the town of
fully
Agua
in.
Fria rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came a whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip. A big iron on his hip.
That's crazy.
Now, I want my spearing spots to remain secret so you guys don't just come there and mass kill every single fish, which is why I'm going to try and not show any recognizable locations.
He has a whole fucking skyline in the background of the video.
I'm going to try and not show any recognizable locations.
That was like also the worst dive ever. Little dinos are awesome, actually. Sucks I don't dance in this. Oh no, he didn't make it.
And after meeting up with my other mate, we headed out to get some fish. And obviously, as this is a video about me making a spear gun, I am going to be shooting fish. But don't worry, all the fish I shot were pedophiles. And we're at a pretty remote island chain 6 hours south of Sydney.
No, I know they dance. They don't dance on like my screen though. Like you see that. But like otherwise they're dancing. No, I can see it. I have another like tab open. I can see it. they dancing.
And we've been here before and know that the area can be pretty rough. And with big swells forecasted, we decided to stick in the shallows, which would give me the opportunity to test out the gun and get my aim in on some smaller fish.
I'll see you at the water.
See you, Michaela.
And I'm not sure what this turtle was doing. At first I thought it was
Whoa.
just dead, as it wasn't moving and its head was squished under the rock, but I think it was just sleeping or trying to get a feed or something. So, after waking it up, I got on the hunt for some fish. And here I'm doing a shallow dive to around 3 meters, 10 feet, as I saw a school of luderick in the distance. And luderick are usually pretty easy to hunt, but sometimes they can get skittish, and that's probably what happened as they saw me dive down, and then I couldn't get close enough to get a shot off. So I went out a little deeper and dove to around 7 meters or 22 feet, and found a big group of red morwongs. And red morwongs are just one of those fish you almost feel bad for shooting, as they are a super easy shot, and they just sit there staring at you with their big eyes. And in the background, I spotted one that looked around 40 centimeters, the perfect eating size. But I still missed. And then I found out the first
Come on,
problem
brother.
with this gun. There's twice as many spears to tangle on stuff. And another problem I'm feeling is that the gun is super heavy in the water and it sinks really fast, which is making it really awkward to move around. So I reset the spears, which probably takes 4 times longer than a normal gun, and took another dive. And on the way down, found a hole that I thought an octopus would be in.
No octopus.
But no one was home. But I did find this big school of blackfish, which are delicious.
Had blackfish. Bro, you feel like you waited way too long.
And I missed again.
What is
And
he
for
aiming
some reason,
for?
us Australians
Wait, what is bro aiming for? Oh, like way over here? Oh, I
And
see.
I
You
missed
could
again.
barely see
And
it.
for some reason, us Australians always have the most racist names for fish. We got blackfish, Jewfish, Chinaman leather
Dude, there's no way they have Jewfish and Chinaman leather
Jacket.
jacket.
And if you think those fish have racist names, you should look up what luderick used to be called. And this gun is really hard to aim in the water. I can't turn it at all. And at this point, after missing so many times, I was desperate to get something for dinner, and even decided I was happy with something small. So I dove again with the plan of shooting a swordtail. And I'm making these grunting noises in a poor attempt to attract fish closer, as hopefully they'll think I'm drowning and come over to save me.
That's crazy.
And I missed again. Now looking back at the footage, I wasn't even pointing at the fish, so I'm definitely having trouble lining up the gun. Alright, so I had scared a lot of fish in this spot, so we moved into different water and did some deeper, longer dives at around 12 meters or 40 feet. Now for this dive, I want you to hold your breath with me and see how far you make it. Okay? 10,
Okay. Wait, I want to try
9, 8, 7,
I
6,
actually- I'm gonna try this.
4, 3, 2, 1, hold.
shows how boring that is, so I'm not doing that. Damn, bro is going for like ever. You made it what, 2 minutes? Hey, damn.
And breathe. And if you managed to hold your breath for that long, good work. And if you didn't, and you've now blacked out in front of your computer, even better. Please remain that way for the rest of the video, and then let my other videos keep auto-playing after.
Oh, unfortunately, I think a song video would play next, according to my YouTube.
And on this dive, I'm attempting to go full stealth mode and made my body as flat as possible on the bottom, and then used boulders as cover, and then used my hands to crawl along trying to get closer to the School of Lettering.
Oh, I guess, yeah, like, sneaking up on fish probably isn't too bad or too hard. The hard thing is, though, I bet as soon as you scare one of them, the whole fucking school leaves. I'm sure.
So I missed again.
Is he gonna hit anything? Damn, do we have 12 more minutes of him missing?
And there are a lot of problems with this gun. The biggest one being how hard it is to move around underwater.
I'm not saying I could do better. Not saying that at all. It's hard, but like, come on, 12 minutes of this?
Need to press it up against my shoulder to move it properly, which makes
Surely
it
he'll make a
incredibly
new
hard
one,
to
right?
aim. And after missing this much, the weather turned to shit, so we called it a day.
I mean, day one I learned gun misses a lot.
Is he just gonna revise it and make a new one? Barely, maybe not.
And day two, we woke up early and the swell was looking super flat, and even before we got in the water, we could see a shark from the house on the drone. So I ran down to the water and jumped in, and it was a big nurse shark just cruising for some food. And after taking the drone back up, we also spotted a hammerhead shark, a pod of dolphins chilling in the shallows, big schools of rays, and these mysterious fast-moving objects, which were either big fish or sharks. And we hoped this meant it would be a fishy day. And today we decided to head out a kilometre offshore to the islands, as the swell was lower, and we know from last time when we were here that it's where the bigger fish hang out. But as soon as we got the boat past the headlands into more open water, the weather got worse, and the water was looking eerie and dark, and no part of me wanted to hop in. So my mate got in first.
Alright, you're in the water first this time. I did it first last time.
I have like a pretty big fear of the ocean. I could never do this. Like at all.
Fucking murky as fuck.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And the water was disgusting. And we were in about 20 metres of water, but could barely see 3 metres in front of us. So we moved closer to one of the islands, and I made a dive. And sadly, my GoPro was broken as I was diving past 10 metres, but I didn't realise, so I was just swimming around like an idiot trying to film stuff. But luckily we have my mate's perspective that barely captures what happens. I managed to get my first fish, a massive
No way he
black
caught
drummer.
one but didn't report it. That sucks, dude.
I'm so sorry, I turned my head because I saw something.
And I guess I could be lying as you didn't actually see the shot, and I could have just shot an already dead fish that we planted there earlier, but I was ecstatic to get a fish with the gun for dinner. And it was big as well, weighing in at 3.5 kilos.
That is a pretty big fish, damn.
So after putting the fish in the boat, we jumped back in a slightly different spot, and the visibility got increasingly worse, and so did the current. But even with the worst conditions and being barely able to stay in one spot, my mate managed to shoot a leather jacket with the most unnecessary gangster grip I've ever seen. But while he was getting the fish on the float line, we were unknowingly being pushed by the current. And when we did finally look up, the boat was like 300 meters away.
Yeah, we're gonna head back that way.
And it's so hard to know how strong the currents are pulling you when the visibility is bad, as we don't have an underwater reference point. So I thought we were floating in one spot as I was watching a school of fish and keeping up with them. But it turns out those fish were also moving in the current.
It's pretty crazy current.
Yeah.
We're not moving. Let's just try swim hard to it.
We swam against the current for like 10 minutes, but it barely moved. And I don't know if you can tell from this footage, but this current was ripping. And just when I turned to Jilly and realized we were in a bit of trouble,
We're not moving.
We have a bit. We're behind that rock before.
our knight in shining armor arrived.
We didn't realise how strong this current is.
I've been taken by like an ocean current before, and holy shit, like it's so fucking scary.
This beautiful bloke named Michael.
And I already
He
don't
picked me
like
up
the
on his
ocean.
jet ski
Like,
and
I
took
would
me
never
back
do
to the boat.
any sort of deep sea diving.
And you know what? I'm very
whatsoever.
glad I didn't drown, as I'm pretty sure drowning and dying is against YouTube's monetization policy, and I really don't want this video to be demonetized. But my mate was still in the water. But luckily my mate was calm about the whole being swept out to sea thing, and decided to make the best of it and reload his gun and shoot some fish while waiting to be picked up. But unfortunately for him, before he could reload, this school of kingfish, probably around the 85 centimeter mark, came in and had a good look at him before disappearing into the gloom. And even though he didn't shoot one, it's really good to know they were in the area. Then Michael came just in time before he was swept in between the two islands and took him back to the boat. Michael, if you're watching, we love you. Alright, after that sketchy experience, we decided to call it a day and had some delicious black drummer ceviche for dinner.
Oh.
And I woke up determined to get some fish. Not just for the video, but just to eat, as we had been living off rations for the last 2 days. So we headed out on the boat to the calm spot from the first day and just decided to stay in the water until we got something good. And on my first dive, I dove to around 27 feet and spotted a nice sized sweet lips. And it didn't want to get close, and it also seemed to be hiding behind a big blue groper, which we aren't allowed to shoot. So I waited for the blue groper to move out of the way, and then missed. And that's it, I'm done. I'm missing even more with this gun than my normal one, and it's so frustrating to use. So now I'm just going to focus on catching dinner and having a nice time. So I grabbed my old gun.
That's fair enough, honestly.
I don't think it's coming back. I stepped right on a sea urchin.
And because I broke my GoPro, I don't have my point of view of what happened next, but luckily my mate still recorded enough of it. I was breathing up on the surface in around 6 meters of water while my mate was untangling his gun. And in comes a 3 meter or 10-foot shark. And my mate does the right thing and stays calm and just watches it, but for some reason he doesn't tell me it's nearby and lets me dive to the bottom right next to it.
Dude, imagine not telling your friend and not saying anything.
Then when I get to the bottom,
Holy
I
shit.
only spot the shark when it's like 4 feet away from me at eye level. And I got the fright of my life and then did what you're not meant to do and freak out and immediately swam to the surface.
I mean, Spirit, I say go for it.
Yeah, I just saw it. It was
Dude,
heading right
no.
at you. Did you see what it was? I couldn't tell from above.
It looks like a white.
A white, you reckon? Fuck.
And at the time, I thought it was a great white. It was in the murk and I could just see grey and then white on the bottom of the shark. But after seeing this footage, I think it's more likely a dusky whaler. Still a big shark though. So after seeing the shark, we did a couple more dives. And my mate took this...
That's crazy they've seen so many sharks. I feel like that's super rare. Like, I've never seen a shark in the wild, you know? But I've also never gone, like, deep sea diving. And they stay away from, like, beaches. Which, like, makes sense, you know?
Sleeping morwong. And some other fish. And then as we were swimming back to the boat, the third greatest thing that's ever happened to me in the water happened. We were both on the surface and I saw these little fish dart away, so I knew something big was coming in. And then in came two massive kingfish. And without even thinking, I took a top-down shot directly into the spine of the fish. And then my mate dove down to shoot the other one, but in his excitement, knocked his goggles half off, letting water into his eyes. Or at least that's the excuse he told me, and he missed. But my fish was on, and it seemed to be a good holding shot. And I knew this fish was big, but I didn't realize how big it was until I tried to pull it to the surface, and I couldn't. And I was very lucky that my shot must have nicked its spine.
I'll get it in for you.
As kingfish this size have more than enough power to pull all your gear down and tangle up on the bottom. But luckily I was managing to control the fish and stop it from doing that. But while I was doing this, I then began to think about the big shark we just saw and worried it was going to come in and eat the fish before I could. But there was nothing else I could do but wait until my mate had reloaded for a second shot. And if you've ever gone spearfishing, you'll know that there is no slower feeling in the world than trying to reload your gun while there's good fish around. And it took him a whole 1 minute 30 to do. Also, the other kingy he just missed was still swimming around taunting him. But eventually he reloaded and dove down for a second shot.
Do you want me to second shot or go for the other one?
Probably just second shot.
Holy shit. Damn, that thing is fucking massive, actually.
That's a monster!
Well, it's like, how do
The
you,
whole
like,
idea of me making the
do?
double-barreled gun was to not have to need a second person or a second shot in situations like this. But you know what? I am very glad I didn't have the double-barreled spear gun on me, as I definitely would have missed this fish. And eventually the fish got tired enough and we managed to pull it up to me. And only now, when I tried getting my arms around the fish, did I realize how big it was. It was almost the length of my mate.
That is crazy. Holy shit, it is massive.
And this doesn't feel real. I've never seen a fish this big before.
It's ridiculous. Fucking giant. My shot wasn't bad.
And this is definitely going to be enough fish for dinner. So we headed in. And on the way, we grabbed some abalone, or as
You can split that with like 5 people,
I
and
call
you're
them,
all gonna be
vaginas of the sea.
fucking full.
And then weighed the kingfish. And it came in at 22 kilos and 136 centimeters, which is 4'4" or 50 pounds.
I forgot how big it was already after you just pulled it out again.
Jeez. That's crazy. Dude. Making a shit ton of sushi out of this would be... that's sashimi there. Or that's nigiri, right? I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Yeah. Wait, hold up. I'm curious. What was popping up there? Oh, Night Carnival. Okay. I was going to say, what if I looked up that looks similar to that? Nigiri. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's nigiri. Like... I bet that's so good. And so much more rewarding. Making it yourself and catching it yourself.
Sail the sea.
Like, holy shit, that's awesome.
But the best ships are friendships, like the ones between you and me.
It's like a Dr. Seuss quote.
And after the success of this double-barreled spear gun, I've decided I don't want it, and whoever finds it first gets it. Just please don't shoot yourself or anyone with it. The coordinates to its location are hidden somewhere in this video.
Dude. That would be so sick, actually, if I got to find that shit. Ah, that'd be so sick. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna hop off just because I'm not feeling super great right now. So, I'm gonna play a lot tomorrow. I have a pretty cool stream, so I'm excited. Oh yeah, see everybody later. I know it was a short stream.